There you go.
But it made a difference.
It covered about half for you.
It covered about half, and over time it covered more as the rents went up. But up front, it was the only way to get into home ownership, and that's basically the case a lot now. Is it's hard to get into home ownership, so you got to get creative. And so I was paying $500 or $600 a month in my first house.
Awesome. So really quick follow-up question with that, because a lot of people say, oh my gosh, back in the day, I could have bought a house because it was only $950 on the mortgage. But if I'm understanding it right, even back when you were buying houses, it was still hard to buy a house, and you had to make that sacrifice in order to just get anything. And then it just grew from there.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it was hard.
And it was paying half, which is about what people get today when they house hack. It's the exact same. And I was going to ask you, like, why house hacking, but it sounds like that was it was literally the only way you could afford something.
Correct.
Back then. Do you mind me asking what year it was about when
2002 was when I bought my first house.
Okay.
And, $951 was a lot of money back then.
Yeah.
So, people are probably listening like, I wish I could buy at $951, but no, that was a lot of money back then.
What was the sales price of the home? I'm just curious.
I think it was $130,000.
Sounds about right. My parents bought their house around the same time for like $150.
Yeah, it was $134. It was $134.
There you go.
Yep. And then I resold it. Well, I'll tell you about that in a minute. But I resold it later for more than that, obviously. But, But yeah.
Very cool.
Okay. Awesome.
So when you first started your house hacking journey, and you got into, your very first house, that red brick house in American Fork.
Correct.
Once you got in there and you had your basement apartment and it was rented out, would you say that your thought process was like, oh man, I'm going to keep doing this again and again and again?
Oh yeah. That was my goal. I was reading Rich Dad Poor Dad at the time, and I was like, I'm going to keep this house forever, and it'll be great, and I'll keep buying them and keep adding to the portfolio. So that was the plan for sure.
Very nice. So it was like just a continuous like stepping stone process into your kind of rich dad experience.
Yeah. And we did buy a house a few years later. We upgraded to the next house, and we tried to keep this house, and life sometimes happens. So after owning this house for 4 years, even though we couldn't keep it long term, when we did sell it, we sold it for about $50,000 more than what we paid for it. And we paid off our student loans. We paid off our car loans, and we had just enough money to go to Ruth's Chris and put whatever was left in the bank. And it was a big celebration for us, because at that point we had no debt other than our home.
And now
homes.